Hi, so we're going to deploy an Azure VM from a generalized Windows VM image. So what it means is that we'll first of all create the generalized Windows VM image, and then from there we'll deploy the Azure VM. That is a copy of the generalized image. So let's see how to do that. So we're back on the Azure portal, and we can see that we have two virtual machines currently running. The first one is the Windows virtual machine or web server which we created earlier, and then second one is the Linux web server which we also created earlier. The Windows web server contains the IIS, that's the Internet Information Services, and the Linux web server has the Apache web server installed in it. So both of them are displaying websites currently. So we're going to concentrate in this video on the Windows operating system, and we are going to make a generalized image, and we'll use that image to create a new virtual machine which is a copy of this virtual machine. So we need to first of all go into the virtual machine, that is the VM lab 0901, and let's go to the disk, and we can see currently we just have one disk, which is the operating system hosting the IIS software. And if we come back to get the IP, so we'll copy the IP address. Let's confirm that we still have our IIS web server running, and now it shows this is my lab 0901 web server, so it's currently running. So to create a generalized image, what we need to do is we need to have access to the virtual machine, and then we can be able to generalize the virtual machine to create the image. So let's see how to do that. So we first of all need to connect through RDP. So click on that, and then we'll choose the IP address, and the port number is fine. We'll save that. So we have it currently saved. But let me just confirm that we can have access through RDP, which we configured in the last video, that we can have access because we allowed it. So we'll come back to where we downloaded the RDP file, which is this. I'm going to click on that, connect, and use the same process. Use our password. Let me open that. So this is what we've done. We downloaded the RDP file. So we're trying to access the web server, and then we'll go on with all these instructions. So this is the way to deploy an Azure VM from generalized Windows VM image. So let's put in our username and password. So put Azure admin, and our password, remember our password when we were creating the virtual machine, and that is this one. So I'll copy that and come here and paste, and okay, so we have access, and let's yes. So we are now on the guest machine, that's the Azure Windows web server, and let's just minimize this, and we're going to look for command prompt. So we'll type in command, and we have it there, and we'll open run as administrator. And now we're here. Let's go back to our commands, and it says we need to prepare the VM for generalization, and to do that we need to have access to the sysrep file folder. So let's see, we need to cd into Windows System 32 and sysprep. So let's do that. So I'm going to type in here to cd, enter, and now we have access to the folder, and then we'll run the sysprep.exe, and now we have this. So we'll choose that, enter system out of box experience. We'll click on generalize, which is what we want to do, and afterwards we want it to shut down. So it's going to be stopped, and we'll press OK and allow that process to take effect, to prepare for our image to be created. So let's refresh. That's shutting down actually, and we can see VM stopping, so it's shutting it down. So wait for it to stop, and we can see stopped. So we're going to deallocate this, and let's just use PowerShell since we're dealing with the Windows web server. So let's use PowerShell to do that. So open our Cloud Shell, and now we are on PowerShell. So we need to put in the command to deallocate, that's to stop the virtual machine completely. And to do that, we'll use this command which says stop AZ-VM resource group name with the name of the virtual machine, and we'll force it. So that's what we're going to do. We'll copy that, come here, paste it, and press enter to stop it. And now we can see start to say succeeded, so it successfully stopped our virtual machine. So let's minimize that and let's refresh, and we can see it's now stopped and deallocated. So we can now go through the process of creating the image, the virtual machine image, that's the generalized image. So to do that, we'll go to capture, and now we'll specify the resource group, which is the same we'll use. It says share image to shared image gallery, and that's fine. Automatically deletes this virtual machine after creating the image, which is exactly what I want, because we won't use the virtual machine anymore. So target image gallery, that's the image gallery for this image version. So we're going to create new, and we'll say target image gallery for the virtual machine lab 09, or we can just say for lab 09, and OK, and this is fine. Target image definition, so let's create one. So TID lab 09, OK, done. Version number, and create and review. Validation passed, so create. So we can see now it says our deployment is complete. So we'll go to resource, and we can see status succeeded. So next we need to create the virtual machine. So how we're able to also get this image is to go to all resources, then we can see the image there. So once we're back here, we'll click on create VM, and now we need to specify the virtual machine name. So we'll call this copy, right? Then this is fine. Availability options now. So see, we can see the image which we are using. Then the size says undefined, so we're going to specify our size, and we'll use general purpose just like we had in the original virtual machine that was used. And we'll put the Azure username, which is the same, and our password, which is exactly what we had here. So copy, we paste that, and allow these ports HTTP and RDP, which is fine. And let's go on next disk, next networking, next management, advanced, and we do not need to put any custom data. Next tags, and let's review and create. So create. So now our virtual machine has been created. Let's go to the source, and we can see the copy virtual machine. And if we go to disks, we can see it has the copy of the disk we had initially, and our networking, we can see RDP HTTP is currently allowed. And let's go back to overview and copy the IP address, and let's paste it. And now we can see that our server is running. It says this is my virtual machine lab 0901 web server. So we've successfully been able to create a generalized image from our initial virtual machine, and then we were able to deploy it to create a copy virtual machine. In other words, we did that with the Windows operating system running the IIS web server.